feel like it would be easier to predict the Switch 2 launch year if we knew even just a little bit more about it, but I also feel like if we knew a little bit more about it, it would kind of eliminate the need and purpose of predicting it. But even ignoring all of the leaks and rumors, here is what we do know for certain, officially. Nintendo will announce their next console before the end of the fiscal year, which is like March 31st, 2025. They themselves say it should be looked at as, quote, the successor to the Switch, and it will be backwards compatible with the Switch. Those three little nuggets of information kind of already tell us a lot. It tells us that it's basically gonna be the Nintendo Switch 2, whether or not they call it that. When exactly are they gonna announce it? January, February, or sometime in March? Honestly, people are guessing all over the place. I really don't know. Some people are saying January because they're just waiting for the holiday season to be over so people can buy the original Switch and they can reveal it right after when everyone's mind is off the holidays and they can start the new year with a big announcement. Some people are thinking it's February because they got DKC Returns coming out in January, Xenoblade X coming in March, and they just want to have everyone focus on the Switch 2 announcements in February. And then some people think it's going to happen in March, because when they say we will reveal the next console before the end of the fiscal year, I'm starting to think they really meant no. Right at the last freaking second. Now also, how are they going to reveal this thing? Are they going to do the same thing that they did with Switch 1? An announcement of the reveal, and then the next day, a reveal trailer, like 3 minutes just showing what the console is, all the main features, giving you a big idea of what it really is. And then a couple months later, a big presentation, which is also kind of like part Nintendo Direct with all the game reveals and everything, and they really delve into the console, give you the price, the launch date, everything. And then another couple months later is launch day. Either way, I feel like they would want a good 4, 5, maybe 6 month hype building period to market the thing really well. That means, depending on which one they do, they'll have maybe a summer launch if they reveal it in January, and they'll have a holiday launch if they reveal it around March. And when I think of it like that, I think a summer launch is more likely than a holiday launch, or maybe they do it sometime in March, but they don't expect they'll need that long of a marketing period because people are already anticipating this, and since it's basically just going to be a Switch 2, the same thing but better, people already know what it is. The main thing is getting them to understand that it's the next console, and maybe that's why they're gonna name it the Switch 2 so they avoid a whole Wii U fiasco. I also have to wonder if they're trying to factor GTA 6 into their plans, like a lot of other games are like don't want to release around that time because the whole world is gonna be busy. So either way, let's say it launches in the summer. That means they have 6 months left in the year by the time it comes out. Let's say it comes out in June. On launch day, I'm predicting the brand new 3D Mario, some sort of gimmicky 1-2 Switch type game from that part of Nintendo's internal teams to show off whatever potential new features the Switch 2 is going to have. And because of course they're going to do one of those games. I also predict heavier third-party support going forward from launch day. I think Switch 1 on launch day, it only had like snipper clips and The Binding of Isaac and like one other random game. Third parties are gonna get in on the game way earlier. It's hard to guess what other things they're gonna do because, for one thing, so many series have gotten new games in just the past few years that it's hard to think which ones are gonna appear so soon in the Switch 2 lineup. And then another thing is, for example, they said they want to release a Zelda game every year. Well, if a Zelda game comes out for Switch 1 next year, what's going to come out for Switch 2? Well, if there's going to be a Zelda game next year for Switch 2, I am going to guess a Breath of the Wild remaster. And I don't think they're going to do many remasters like this for Switch 2 because it's backwards compatible, but probably a few like Breath of the Wild, probably Smash Ultimate, Animal Crossing, all the big ones to make them run and perform perfectly, and with all the DLC included. I'm also guessing this because of those codename leaks. Breath of the Wild's codename is King, and there was one King-U, which is the Wii U version, King-S, which was the Switch version, and then King-O, and O apparently stands for Ounce, which is supposedly the Switch 2 codename, so I guess this is coming in some form or another. August and September, I'm not sure which. It's easier to guess the games than the timing. I think one of those is gonna get a new IP. I think the Switch 2 is gonna get a new IP early on, kind of like how the Switch got ARMS. Although not specifically an ARMS or a sequel to that, because for one, it didn't do so well, but also because that game game was made by the internal team that also makes Mario Kart, and that is almost definitely going to be their big holiday game for that year. I'm guessing that one for either late October, early November, but they usually do 3 holiday games, September, October, and November. But again, depending on how many games also come out for the original Switch, makes it harder to guess. Maybe one of the holiday games is going to be a crossover title, Metroid Prime 4. Maybe even also Pokemon ZA. Then there's the possibility, I don't think this will happen, but there's a possibility that the Switch 2 actually is a holiday launch. It'll come out around maybe September, and then they have just enough time for their 3 big holiday titles. Launch day will probably look the same. 3D Mario, some weird 1-2 Switch gimmicky type game, and then whatever third parties come along early. October might be that new IP, maybe also Metroid Prime 4, and then November, you got Mario Kart. And so right now, as I'm recording this on December 29th, that's kind of how I'm thinking the Switch 2 launch year is gonna go. But what about you? Hit the like button, sub to the channel, and let me know what you think is gonna happen for the Switch 2.